My friends, the great experiment.
Discovery. Hidden. Trick.
Would you look at that?
The greatest trick.
And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
The greatest trick.
Welcome to Greatest Trek. It's a new Star Trek podcast from the makers of The Greatest Generation. I'm Adam Pranica.
I'm Ben Harrison.
Eagle-eared FODs will have heard a slurp on one of the mics.
Sorry.
You're like the Kermit meme. You're like sipping the tea.
Yeah.
What don't you want to talk about that you know all about, in fact?
Oh, this tea? I wouldn't spill this tea here. You were trying to get some tea right before the show. You were trying to slide into Aaron Waltke's DMs to find out when Star Trek Prodigy's coming out. He said they don't tell him anything.
I was trying to exploit our friendship for a professional gain, and he wasn't having it.
No.
Of course he wouldn't.
No. Aaron Waltke's class act.
Yeah, that leads us to the question, what the hell are we going to do after Discovery and before whatever comes next? I guess we have 3 or 4 weeks to decide that.
Yeah, that's several months of probable sandbox space again, so who knows?
If you have an idea of what kind of show we should do to fill the space, use our phone number, 206-984-4FUN, and leave a message for what we should be doing in the Greatest Trek off-season. Operators are standing by.
Yeah, just say that your idea is a momentous occasion, and your call will be put through to the correct person. No, I have a little bit of a sore throat. Daron was down all weekend with something, and sure enough, a toddler sneezing in your mouth multiple times over the course of several days can get you sick.
I mean, not the most dangerous behavior you've engaged in over the years. Not the worst thing you've had shot into your mouth over the last few decades.
Yeah, not the worst mucusy substance. And this one I wasn't spitting out in a potted plant, let me tell you.
Oh, geez, Ben. I just want you to get less sick. I want that for you so bad.
You know what, though? Like, I am sick right now. Like, unambiguously, I am sick. But I'm not super sick. And this is such a rare middle thing for me.
When you're down, you get down.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, my wife is a trauma response going right now, which is like, don't record your show, don't do anything. And I'm like, we're on top of schedule.
She says that all the time, though.
This is Star Trek Discovery. Like, we don't have that many screeners out ahead of where everybody else is. We got to record today.
It's true.
So I'm like, I'm doing it, but she is worried that I'm going to get like Benjamin R. Harrison levels of sick because of this. So.
She has no idea how low effort doing a Star Trek podcast is. You're not exerting yourself at all. Look at you. You're sitting at a desk drinking hot tea.
Yeah.
You're probably doing more for your Birdie doing the show than you would be doing anything else.
If I wasn't recording the show right now, I'd be, selling cocaine on a street corner somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing something better with your life for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours.
How about new?
As we really give this episode of Star Trek Discovery the business. What do you say we get into it, Ben?
Let's give it the business.
Let's make an oath to give the Greatest Trek business to Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 7!
Oh, shit. I watched Season 5, Episode 8.
If you like King,
Erica.
bring it on!
You know the greatest danger facing us is an irrational fear of the unknown.
Black alert. Black alert.
I love that Eminem song about white America.
I'm thinking of the Black Crowes album, America, which I think just had like a bikini around a giant bush. You remember that? You remember that scandal? The Black Crowes dropped an album and its cover art had Bush in it. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Can't show that.
That might have been before my time. I'm not even really sure who the Black Crowes are.
I'll I'll fill you in after the show, Ben.
They're not counting them, are they? It's a different scenario.
Hey, let me see. Let me light your candle, because, Ben, I'll tell you all about the Black Crows after the show. So this cold open shows the exterior of the war pod in the foreground and a giant future Starfleet ship in the back, and it's playing a distress call on a loop. I love this opening shot mostly because I want to see more of these other future ships.
Yeah, they're so limited in terms of like when we get to see close-ups of them. Mm-hmm. They're often, mise en scène for when Disco shows up at Fed HQ or something. But
right.
This was a rare like detail shot of one of these. It's the USS Lockerer, which is like, isn't that a bit on the nose to send the Lockerer after Locke?
I was just thinking about how uncomfortable of a ship that would be for me in my middle school years. I'm taking music classes. I'm not taking gym classes so I can avoid the Lockerer. Everyone showers together on the USS Lockerer.
Is that a bully is a Lockerer and a nerd is a Lockeree?
Oh, great question. That's some fun wordplay.
Because it does look like a pretty tough ship, like a ship that turn you upside down and shake your lunch money out of your pants pockets.
It's a good thing they didn't send the USS Locker B, because then there would be like half of the bridge dropped in a field somewhere.
It must be fun to be from that part of Scotland and have the only thing anyone knows about you is the time an airplane fell on you.
That sucks. That sucks, and I just did it to those people who are probably by and large very nice.
Yeah. And friends of DeSoto, one and all.
Yeah.
Was your understanding that Commander Nan was running the USS Lockerer in this? Or was she on the USS Lockerer and then came over to the Disco for the rest of the day?
My supposition was that she caught a ride on the Lockerer and then blurped over. It was a reminder to me of whatever happened to her. I thought she joined Section 31. No, it's just Federation security that she works for.
Yeah. I also could not remember why she didn't have mouth-breathing gadgets anymore.
Do you think the people in Section 31 are a little bit annoyed that the folks in Federation security wear uniforms almost, but not exactly identical to theirs? Like they've got the store brand Black Starfleet uniform that looks pretty badass, but it's definitely not the real thing.
It's not fitted like ours,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably like, I wish they would just wear the same as ours because I want people to assume that Section 31 isn't here and they'll just see us and be like, oh, Federation security.
Yeah.
But they're not going to stoop to buying the store brand like Federation security does,
She's in a corridor talking to Michael Burnham, and Burnham's like, hey, you want to go hit the mess hall? And Nana's like, yum, yum. That line of dialogue from her character is the most memorable part of Nan as a person to me.
Yeah, we talk about how special offer is courier code for SOS. So Maul and Locke were trying to get rescued by other couriers and did not succeed. And sounds like this really went badly for them. Like Maul is on the brink of starvation. They haven't really solved Locke's blade to the belly problem. They're beaming them over from the sicksbay on the Lockerer to the sicksbay on Disco so that Culber can have a thing to do this episode.
Did it seem a little silly that Nan was like, yeah, my job is to go along with you, like to escort you back to Federation HQ, an act that takes seconds?
My job is to get back to my apartment at Federation HQ because I can't remember if I remembered to turn the stove off when I made tea this morning, and I just need to be back there kind of as quickly as possible.
In the Federation of the future, the security people do not charge by the hour. They cannot.
So they get to sicksbay, and Book is trying to get in there to see Maul and Locke, and he's like, I can help. give me something to do in this episode, please.
Look, you need to accept that there's nothing for you to do right now.
The security people that are there and Commander Nan are totally against it. Michael Burnham tries to speak up for Book. He's in the main cast. What could it hurt? And they're like, no, remember last season? We're still suspicious of him, and we're here to remind you of that.
More and more, Book is already at a place that Michael Burnham is heading, and I keep expecting that take from her that's the dazed and confused pinch of the bridge of the nose.
Look, you are not supposed to be here.
So far, Michael is pretty cool at playing it cool when he's sticking his nose into business that isn't his. But this is another scene where she's with someone in a professional context, and she has to somehow explain why Book. Did you clock the security guy over Nan's right shoulder in this scene who just cannot not look like they're eavesdropping? And reacting to the things being said in this scene.
I didn't clock this guy.
You should be a British soldier wearing that really tall hat if you're doing door duty in Starfleet, right?
Yeah, just total straight faced, even though there's a tourist, making farts under their armpit right in front of you.
Oh yeah, Book would be great at that.
He can get anyone to break.
Inside sicksbay, Culber is on shift, and he gives them the medical update on Mullen Locke. He is doing pretty bad, and she is doing pretty mad. And together, that's how they got to be kept, inside a force field.
We learn that there's a vital organ inside Locke that has been damaged, and Culber just doesn't know what to do about it because he's a skilled physician, but nobody from the Federation has really gotten to examine the physiology of, he doesn't even know what this organ does, right? A Breen is a total mystery to him. So the only idea he has is cool him down. Is one of these Breen coolers that they have at Federation HQ.
They cut over to Federation HQ where it's under someone's desk, chilling beverages.
You can put 6 packs of soda in here?
Someone rolls in trying to take it away. No, man, this is in use.
I sometimes put my feet up on that when
What a bummer.
Yeah.
It chills things just to that level of pre-slush even, where if a can were in there just a few moments longer, it'd be too slushy. It'd be undrinkable.
Oh, yeah. It's it's one of those freezer door cocktails that you hear so much about.
Hey, are you still doing the bag of cocktail that you used to do?
I've sort of fallen off of bag.
Yeah? What
Mostly
happened?
I just I feel part of it is that I'm usually too broke to go get a nice bottle of rum and then pour a bunch of it into a bag.
I mean, when you put it that way, it does seem wasteful. But
yeah, no, I'm drinking it.
But on the other hand, this is a thing that you enjoy from time to time. You're not drinking bag cocktail every night, are you?
No, it was kind of a welcome to the end of the week treat for me. Mm-hmm. I should do it.
I don't know, man. How fast are you going through bottles of rum?
If I have a bottle of rum, I can really enjoy that shit.
I'm really bad at that. I got dusty bottles, dude. I should just give you some excess rum so you can get by.
I guess it's up for debate which of us is bad at having booze around.
We're just bad at different ways.
So, yeah, they need to make this low temperature ICU unit, and I guess that's redundant, isn't it?
I like IC unit.
IC unit. It's an IC unit.
It is.
So they blurp to Fed HQ, and there's this great moment when they show up outside of Federation headquarters where you're like, what? No ships? No little drones buzzing around? No nothing? It is giving Ghost House. It's giving Haunted. And I thought that was really well achieved. It was something that you couldn't have done the second time you see Fed HQ, but it's a place we're used to going and we're used to it being a certain way. And now it isn't that.
I will say that the environmental lighting on all of our more familiar settings are distinct and interesting throughout the entire episode. They did a great job with that.
Would you look at that?
They get a FaceTime request from Admiral Just Look at Me. Of course, I have top secret clearance. And he wants to talk to Burnham in private about a threat to HQ.
So she goes ahead and takes that call in the ready room. And there's Admiral has a membership at a cigar bar, even though it's not really necessary because he doesn't go enough to make it worth it. And he's like, look, you need to get the fuck out of here because the Breens are coming directly here and they are pissed. And so what I think the plan should be is to do a little game of hide and Eriga to stall them, because what we both can agree on, at least at this point, is that the Breen can't be allowed to get a jump on the mission to get the progenitor technology. And unfortunately, President Rillick won't be in the episode, so we're giving Trina all of her presidential powers. So you should also know that too. And Burnham's like, okay, that, but what if the opposite?
By all means, Captain. Speak freely.
Apologies, Admiral.
Because all that does is prolong the inevitable interaction that we know we need to have. Why don't we just get it over with? We do it right now, because why wait for the right time to get destroyed by the Breen when you can take care of that today?
There are only 2 episodes after this one. There are only 3 episodes after this one. Like, let's rip Band-Aids the way we've been doing all season.
Yeah.
They're going to stick around and force the Breen to deal with them, and that calls for a McLaughlin group.
Issue 1.
Trina introduces the idea that she is going to be the lead negotiator, and they're talking about how do we negotiate with these people that we really have very little experience with, and Rayner is just unable to govern himself in this meeting. He keeps coming in hot with this take that there is no bargaining with the Breen. It's like a catchphrase that kind of writes itself.
The word diplomacy is not even in their vocabulary.
Then we shall teach it to them.
It's more of a pipe dream than a tactic.
I'm kind of thinking of bringing back, for some reason, as a descriptor for a character on this show, for some reason, Commander Rayner in this scene. Is this bring your lippy commander to work day for the rest of the episode? Because Rayner is constantly a problem in most situations.
Yeah, like Admiral Quilted Socks already has one lippy back-talking Starfleet officer in this room with him.
Yeah.
And she brought her other lippy back-talking Starfleet officer that doesn't even agree with her?
Yeah. It's funny, like after they kick Rayner out, Admiral Guy you think of when you think of a guy who drives a BMW is like, you should do something about him, like from a leadership standpoint, but also why are you bringing him to meetings?
He's saying they can't be bargained with?
Yeah.
He can't be bargained with.
Yeah, am I the only one familiar with the Romulan saying, never turn your back on a Breen?
There is nothing to be gained from xenophobic comments.
Everything that the acting president has read about the contacts with the Breen that Starfleet has ever had has given them the information that there's like 6 Primarchs vying for control of this hegemony. It all sounds very early Klingon Empire to me, right?
Really does, yeah.
These houses in this conflict fighting to get power of the whole thing.
Because the Emperor died, and there's like a power vacuum.
And Burnham is like, yeah, I understand that, but why come all the way here in a giant ship for this fucking doofus and his girlfriend? Like, something doesn't add up here. They've got plenty to do over there in Breen territory. Why is this guy so important? Because it's a risk for them to make the trip too, right? Like,
and expensive. Like, nobody has dilithium outside of the Federation, so this is a tremendously costly thing they're doing.
Everyone assumes that Breen versus Starfleet is a mismatch, that the Breen will win, but there are still costs associated to that strategic victory, I think.
Totally. She wants to figure out what the piece of the puzzle that they're missing could possibly be, and she wants to go talk to Mullen Locke again. So she goes out and walks down the hallway with Rayner, and they have another like, hey man, like, can you fucking chill in the super high level diplomatic meetings conversation? And he's like, yeah, I kind of let it get out from under me there. Sorry about that.
I really love Callum Keith Rennie's take here with like arm up on the corridor, like code for gang member in like a 40s movie. Like you'd expect to see like a burn barrel next to him and like his leather jacket collar up. Like,
yeah, I'm sorry, Captain. I should get back to shooby-dooing in the alleyway like I'm really good at, you know?
The type of guy that smokes a cigarette with 2 fingers and like his other fingers just up in the air like a peacock.
I never call it a gun. It's a 6-shooter.
I got something I want to talk to you about, and I think this is probably the best place to do it. This is a film paper I've been working on. It's my inversion of gender tropes theory, and here's how it goes. It sure seems to me like the men Michael Burnham is surrounded by are either too emotional, like Rayner, too impulsive, like Book, emotionally unavailable, like Admiral Guy, who mentioned some detail about your wife in a group conversation that you didn't know, and now all of a sudden you're wondering if there's something going on between them. Has literally swishy arms, which is Saru, is an untouchable weirdo, Kovic, totally codependent, Locke, or workaholic, which is Culber and Stamets. That's the entire gamut of gender tropes for women. And it seems like all of these men have them. This is blackout bingo.
Wow. But in that case, is Book her manic pixie dream boy?
Maybe.
I mean, he does have those sparkly things on his forehead. That's pixie-ish.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
And he's irascible. He's always like going off and doing his own thing, fighting the 10C like a manic pixie would.
I just... Why Book is such a pervasive question in this season especially.
So we smash cut from this to Tilly packing up her bags and getting ready to head back to Fed HQ, which seems like a bad place to go, just from a strategic safety standpoint. And she's saying she has students there. She doesn't want to leave in the lurch. But everybody's like sheltering in place, right? Like she couldn't actually like check in on anyone if she was at Fed HQ. And Stamets is like, no, there's clues. You got to help with the clues. You can't go. We got to do clues.
What Stamets really wants is for Tilly and Adira to work on figuring out what this metal card is for.
Right.
And all Stamets knows at this point is that there's a text on it written in the Betazoid language, and that text says, the labyrinths of the mind. And if he can just figure out what that means, and by he means Tilly and Adira, maybe they'll be able to figure out why it's made of metal, besides the obvious reason that metal is strong. And there's something interesting about how this scene functions, which is it really seems like Stamets is asking Tilly to be a part of this, when Stamets is a commander, and it is entirely within his ability and his rank and his duty even to both please that booty and order Tilly to do the work that he assigns to her.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Although she might not be like within his part of the branch of command.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that she's the commandant of Starfleet Academy or whatever. Is that what her title is now?
No way. I think Kovic gave her a class. You ever have that teaching assistant in college who like taught most of the class for the professor?
Oh yeah.
This is good for the teaching assistant. Everyone kind of agrees that that's the deal, even though that's kind of a shit deal for the student paying for the professor to do it.
Right. I have like one of the signature academics working on the topic, nominally teaching the class, and instead this guy Elliot is we're dealing with.
Sometimes I see Elliot out on the quad and I like don't know whether to play frisbee with him or tell him I'm going to be late with my assignment.
Yeah, it's like, did I see you eating a veggie burger in one of the student dining halls the other day? What's your role around here?
If you're a teaching assistant, don't you get access to the teacher's lounge? Or is that not available to you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, the amount of things they didn't tell me about what went on in college.
The greatest trick
Is yet to come.
So over in sicksbay, the Breen, it kind of looked like the opposite of a broiler. Like it's like a cold broiler that they have him under.
Oh yeah.
There's like a cold element, and it's kind of like hitting him with cold waves. And I guess there's also chemicals, right? Like it's not just that it's cold, because they could just make something cold, right? Cold is cold.
Yeah. Yeah. This seems to have some direction, some focus.
Yeah.
Maybe some other things going on.
So Burnham comes in and she's like, hey, I got to figure out what the Breen are on about, because they're coming in one of their giant ships. It didn't look that big on the radar, but trust me, it's really big. Tell me about it. And they're like, no, we can't sell you out. And she starts kind of grasping at straws and comes up with the idea that the Primarch must think that his access to the Emperor's chair runs through Locke. Locke must be the person with the actual bloodline.
This is a real Hugh kind of scene, right? Because Michael Burnham is the only one puzzling this out. So like the sequence is Michael Burnham talking to herself effectively and Mal and Locke kind of making faces between them about what she's saying.
Yeah. I guess you could say Locke did the ultimate turn your back on a Breen by shooting his uncle and leaving.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want any part of it. He does not like the idea of being the Emperor. He just wants to be left alone. But this has thrown the entire Breen body politic into chaos, and also given his uncle a reason to hate his guts.
Except if he were to ascend to becoming emperor or whatever, he'd be able to save his lady friend's life. So that might be worth doing at some point, you'd think. But it's a shitty job that he would hate, so it's worth it just to run.
Some things are worse than death.
What's worse than death?
This conversation, for starters.
I've wondered about that, because there seems to be some, like, somehow the Primarch would get to be emperor if he had Locke. But if Locke is the descendant, then shouldn't he just get to become emperor?
It's a
I don't know how it works
convoluted, yeah.
over there. Anyway, we cut back over to Tilly and Adira, who are working with Zora on finding this book. It's a book written by the Betazoid doctor that was responsible for this clue. And there's like a point where they like have to ask Zora to like find some incredibly obscure piece of information. And like while the progress bar is going across, we get one of our classic Star Trek Discovery scenes of pat on the back from Tilly to Adira. Like, you're really stepping up this season. You were on the bridge and you did a good job.
It feels like such faint praise, and it makes me wonder when Adira will finally snap and go like, I just asked a question in a meeting, all right? Like, stop patting me on the head for the bare minimum.
I think that, like, it might be strategic in the case of a person that has the kind of imposter syndrome that Adira has, where everything that goes badly on a mission, Adira maximizes to be entirely their fault, and everything that goes good on the mission, Adira's like, nah, I didn't really have much to do with it, to be
Right.
like, no, you're doing pretty good, you know? Just kind of like bring it back to the middle, which is closer to reality.
I think part of it is the question Adira asks Zora seems like a fairly obvious thing to ask given the context, until he treats it as like this genius epiphany. Like, they're working with an ancient manuscript.
Yeah.
And Adira thinks to ask whether or not there's an expert in the field available for them to talk to, until he's like, oh, oh man.
Ada NB. The person identified as an expert is Jet Reno, of all people. Jet Reno did a little bit of light smuggling before she was a member of Starfleet, and also tended bar.
You haven't lived until you've tried my 7 of limes.
Wow. Want to try that for sure.
That sounds a little too sour. Unless you're going to balance those 7 limes with a sweet and a bitter.
Are we thinking it's Seagram 7 lime juice and a sweet thing.
How could it not be that?
Yeah.
We got to do that.
We should try it.
We got to cut over to talk to Jet Reno, and that's what Tilly and Adira do. And I really want to talk about this shot with you because unlike a lot of sequences where it's like a double versus a single and a shot reverse shot sequence, it's Adira and Tilly standing in the background and Jet Reno in soft focus in the foreground, and she's like bent over a piece of floor plating doing her engineering business there. And like instead of that shot reverse shot, there's like her being in soft focus allows you to do the same looping that a dirty single or a double would give you by shooting over the shoulder of someone whose mouth you can't see.
Right.
Like Jet in soft focus gives you that same thing, but a totally different look.
Yeah. It was a really nice composition.
Yeah.
And I like that Jet Reno is like, I'm just going to keep doing engineering. Like, I know that, like, it kind of reminds me of the, like, classic Law and Order. We're interviewing a guy in a mechanic shop, and he's going to continue to wrench on the car, even though we've been, like, lightly implying that he murdered somebody. You know? They get interrupted because the Breen are here, and the Breen are big.
You were talking about how the lighting of Federation HQ was haunted looking, I think, in the beginning when there was no one there to greet Discovery on arrival. This Breen Juggernaut looks like a haunted house from an animated Disney movie, doesn't it? Like that specific green is like the haunted mansion.
Yeah, but it's also like the Borg's green. Like it's kind of just Star Trek for scary, unknowable.
And the way it rolls up is also above. Like when a ship approaches another ship in Star Trek, I think there's a lot to be made about their relative positions. A lot like the strength of a handshake would communicate, you know? Like this thing comes in high.
Yeah, it's super scary. It's like as imposing feeling as the Imperial command ship in the Mirror Universe. It's like so much bigger than everything else. Like it looks like it could, instead of just attacking, just kind of like keep moving and it would take out HQ and the disco. It's fucking massive.
Yeah.
And I love when Burnham's like, hey, so that time bug thing we went through, like we saw that guy and it destroyed everything. So let's be very careful over the next few minutes to try to avoid that.
She does briefly give Acting President Trina and Admiral guy who works in the wine section at a grocery store that you ask for something nice, but not too expensive. And he's like, I got just the thing. And every time you go back to the store, you look for him, but he's never there. And now you're wondering if he was ever there to begin with.
Yeah, what the hell?
She got a little bit out of luck, which was that whole Primarch thing.
Right.
And they're like, well, that isn't extremely useful in this specific moment. And they throw straight to this Breen FaceTime, and that doesn't go great either. Mostly because of how diplomatic the Federation side is and how to the point the Breen side is.
There will be no negotiation.
In this conversation, they're able to get 1 hour to transfer the prisoners. And that's how much time Burnham is going to be given to determine how to use that little bit of intelligence she got from Locke.
So Burnham has an idea for what to do at this hour, and we cut to Stamets working on trying to narrow down the origin of the manufacture of this card. And this was confusing to me because I was like, well, like they're saying like none of these materials arise naturally on Betazed, therefore this card must have been manufactured elsewhere. But like, can't Betazed import materials?
Yeah, I mean, this card isn't made out of nipple skin and lube.
Must not be from there.
Just hardened lube.
So Book comes in and he's like, oi, Stamets, can I be in the plot in this part of the episode? And Stamets describes the scale of the problem. They have 100 million potential systems to narrow down and not a lot of like great ways to thin the list out.
100 million systems.
It's a lot of systems.
This is like 4 Sunday crosswords for me.
Oh, man.
Just an impossible amount of data to pour through.
Or maybe just like one of those ones that comes around Christmas time that's like the entire page.
Crazy. Who does that?
We team up and do it as a family.
There you go.
My family.
How good is Daron?
Pretty good. He's pretty solid.
The boy.
Hey!
Cheaters don't deserve Nausicaa in Latinum. This ship and her history will shortly become the care of another crew. They will continue the voyages we have begun. The greatest trick.
In the Porcelain 3 conference room at Federation HQ, it's Commander Rayner and Michael Burnham in there talking. She wants to know what he knows about Breen succession ship, and she doesn't know until now that the Kelleran was used as a Breen outpost, the Kelleran planet.
Yeah.
And for a person who has made it her entire identity to know things about people on a deeply personal level, how does she not know until today that this was in Rayner's past?
Yeah, surprising. I guess he doesn't like to talk about it that much.
But I mean, it's in his file.
It must be in his file, yeah. I guess she just skimmed it. She was hoping that they could just like hang Tyr together and have really intense interactions, and that's how she would get to know him. But she just hasn't had time yet.
Didn't you think this was going to be and could have been a Liam Shaw moment? Like when he starts talking about how great his planet was before the Breen showed up, the feeling gets dark. This is a great moment for Rayner, like an explanation, a way to explain why he is the way he is. His story is basically, we used to have forests and lakes and a lot of natural beauty, and those were all shit on by the Breen. And also I was a real Major Kira type during the occupation. And that was it. Like, there's the description of how awful this was, but there was no crescendo into, like, the thing.
Right.
The punctuation at the end that resolves why Rayner. And I was so hungry for that from a scene like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they were writing toward a different goal than why Rayner, which was give Michael Burnham an idea for how to talk to this Primarch. And the scene succeeds there, but I feel like it could have killed two birds with this stone. And yeah, that would have been a great moment.
Yeah.
Maybe they're saving it.
Yeah, maybe. Back with Jet Reno and Adira and Tilly, the question is what they're looking for one of a kind? Or is it something that could be in a special library, perhaps? That's what Jet Reno thinks. There's this spacefaring library that exists that she knows about.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Where is it? In space, somewhere.
And maybe this metal card is something that can be used to, like, check out a book from this library.
I mean, it seems like both parts of the clue have the same answer, is like, it's this library. Like, it's the library card from this library, and the manuscript will be there.
This conversation descends into a real vaudevillian kind of, I'm not trying to check out book. That's Michael Burnham's job. Michael Burnham returned book last season.
You're saying book's been checked out? No, he's like been pretty like thirsty to engage with the plot and doesn't really have a strong pretext to this episode.
Back in sicksbay, Culber and Locke are talking about common ground and if it's possible for them to even achieve such a thing. Can Starfleet love me the way she does? Locke says, can Starfleet fuck me like she does? Culber, I don't think so.
We're nothing like you. Not even close.
That lady over there, she really does it. She really does it for this green thing.
She really does. So, in hushed tones, Maul and Locke discuss a plan whereby Maul will skip out and jake a shuttle and then beam him out, and they will get the fuck out of here. And this really feels like it is getting ready to spoil an otherwise great solution for everyone, because Michael Burnham has hit on an idea to negotiate with the Primarch. And back at Federation HQ, the Primarch beams in with a whole bunch of tough guys, and tries to big dog President Trina, who will not be big dogged, because reveal, Trina speaks Breen?
You cannot big dog Trina after the big dog dick fingers she's had in proximity. She's seen everything.
Yeah. She knows how to treat a big dog, let's just say.
That should be another terrible merch idea for us. A big dog shirt that's instead of the big dog cartoon is a cartoonified version of Saru.
Just Saru's hand.
Yeah, and we just use we do a spin on whatever those big dog t-shirt catchphrases are.
Yeah. Boy, I remember that being such a big thing at one point that I was at like an outlet mall and there was a big dog outlet store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have to grow to a certain size by the time you're like at the outlet mall 2.5 hours outside of town.
It's true. Is it still there?
I don't know. I haven't been to that particular outlet mall since I was a kid.
Damn. I haven't seen a big dog shirt in a long time.
Yeah. I feel like they're coming back, you know? Like if Jenkos are coming back, big dog shirts are coming back.
Everything comes back.
Shirt that says golf is life, the rest is just details. That's got to be on its way back, right?
I have one on the way.
So they try to buy off the Eriga with just a great big pile of dilithium. Like you may have heard, we recently created the only dilithium monopoly in the galaxy. We can hook you up. And the Primarch is not persuaded by that. That's not good enough for the Primarch.
He's insulted. Also, like, this isn't a negotiation. He's there to pick up some folks.
Yeah.
That was the deal.
You saw how big my ship was, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is when Michael Burnham employs her big bluff. And this is name-dropping another Breen Primarch, Tahal, the one that took over Rayner's planet. And this hits Ruin like a ton of bricks. And he calls it as a bluff initially, and then like kind of tries to counter bluff with like, I will just blow up everything. And they're like, no, but you need Locke because of your claim on the throne. And so like, it's real like bluff on bluff, like unmovable bluff meets an unstoppable bluff kind of situation.
For some reason, Commander Rayner is actually the one that puts this bluff over, because he chimes in and he's like, oh yeah, this other Primarch, I actually know her. Yeah, I know her. I think she remembers me. Would it surprise you to know that I didn't get along with her either?
Wait, the room is spinning. You didn't make a great impression on someone?
Yeah, and this is heard as credible to the Primarch in the room.
Yeah.
And this works in their favor.
Feels like this is going to go well, but then we cut back to sicksbay where Maul is shooting Culber and like in the middle of a fist fight with Nun, and it's like, oh shit, like if this Primarch finds out that like a shuttle is departing Discovery with the two people he's after making this deal, he's going to be so fucking pissed.
When Locke shoots himself up with literally all the drugs, there's an opportunity here, right? For something fun or funny to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Or like horrifying in an unconventional way. What I'm thinking is like maybe his face changes and does weird shit, or maybe he starts talking and babbling about some crazy shit we haven't heard him say before. Like anything.
Going to jelly mode.
Good God, man.
What? Ah! What the hell's this?
What we get is, I don't want to like diminish it by calling it the standard issue overdose scene, but like that's pretty much what we get here.
It's the standard issue overdose scene with an amazing fight sequence stacked right on top of it, because Maul is like first kicking the Federation security guys' asses, then kicking Culber's ass, then, you know, fist fighting with Nan, and gets away.
This is a terrible Nan episode, right?
Nan did not do great here.
I wish Nan did better.
I was really worried because when Nan radios up to Michael at Federation HQ, it seems for a second like Nan is just going to be like, they got away, where the Primarch can hear.
Why is there not an out of office or do not disturb associated with the comm badge?
Yeah.
Because this is exactly the moment a setting like that is made for.
Yeah. Michael Burnham heads back to the ship and they're like, shit, we got to find Maul. She's loose. She has some kind of biometric cloaking technology, so they can't even scan the ship for her. And also Locke is in a really bad way and Culber is not successfully bringing him back. So he's going to need a Breen medic brought aboard. And this is definitely not news that Michael Burnham is psyched to hear. But she's like, all right, I will go deal with that. You guys find Maul.
This is a scene where Nan looks like the cutscene in between rounds of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, where her face is totally mangled from her fight with Maul. And Michael's like, all right, it looks like I'm going to have to take it from here, given Federation security has done fuck all to actually maintain the security. And Nan actually has the fucking balls to be like, my detail, my prisoner. You screwed up, Nan.
Yeah.
You blew it.
That is non-persuasive at this point.
Yeah. Not a good moment for her.
Lockdown protocol is instituted all over the ship, and that is just like catnip for Book. He's like, oh, like a plot thing I can engage with, and he tries to leave, and Stamets is like, hey, what are you doing? I said you could be involved with this part of the plot. You can't just go do a different part of the plot.
Yeah.
Book, the mission has to be the priority.
And Book is like, oh, shit, okay. Let me solve this part of the plot really quickly so I can go do that. And Stamets comes up with the idea that maybe there's some empathic message inside the library card that Book can access using his sparkly forehead technology.
It doesn't seem like there's a cost associated with using this power for Book. And it seemed like there's probably an open world video game analog to this. Like, you find an artifact of some kind.
Right.
You have an ability to either read it or flip it over or use your magic power or whatever to determine its origin or its usefulness. It seems like that would be Book's main utility on a show like this. Scan it with your forehead, Book, no matter what it is.
He has to eat a pile of shit every time to recharge it. And he's like, I don't want to do it again. It's just so fucking unpleasant every time.
He has to apologize to a different crew member about not asking them how they're doing today.
That's what I meant by eat a pile of shit.
Yeah.
So he glowing foreheads the library card. We see a plasma storm. We get the word eternal.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be enough for Stamets to allow Book to go be in a different part of the ship. So he goes, and a medic shows up in sicksbay with the Primarch to work on Locke.
There's that moment where the doctor, doctors are frequently a kind of fun and folksy type, no matter what television show you're watching. And this guy's like, oh, where'd you get this fridge from? I haven't seen one of these in ages.
This is a classic. What did you say, about 800 years old? They don't make them like this anymore.
And the Primarch is in the Breen voice, can we please get to work fixing my nephew? This happens all the time with the Doctor characters.
Yeah. Dr. Breen, medicine person.
Yeah.
Just fun to be around. Mm-hmm. So Book and Nan find Maul in the hallway. Maul has a hostage who really doesn't get to do anything. Well, kind of bad for this extra.
She's got a map to Shuttle Bay.
Shut up!
Was this person a human shield for the entrance to the shuttle bay? Is that what you understood this situation to be?
I couldn't really figure that out.
Yeah.
Whether she just was holding them at gunpoint or whether she was trying to get past where they were standing.
I wonder if the shuttle bay / cargo bay set still exists. It's been a long time since we've seen it.
Well, Book persuades Maul to put down her gun and go back and be at Locke's bedside because he's really going to need her at a time like this. And we get the POV of Locke opening his eyes and seeing her looking down at his bedside right as he shuffles loose this mortal coil. And there was a moment here where we cut back to the wide, and it kind of looked like the medic had just like beamed to sicksbay and set their box down and then just kind of like stayed toward the foot of the bed and not really done anything. And I was like, what is the medic supposed to be there for? Like, I know that probably something happened in between the two scenes, but I was like,
too much fridge talk from the doctor.
Yeah, no wonder Locke died. Like the doctor had to spend 20 minutes on the fridge before he did anything.
In an earlier scene, the Primarch articulated a punishment if Locke were to die, and that is that he would destroy Federation HQ. And now that he's dead, kind of seems like that's back on the table.
But Maul, of all people, argues against this narrative that the Primarch is kind of spinning in real time. Like the Primarch was in the room to see Locke die while being cared for by a Breen physician and knows that the reason Locke was on the edge was because Locke dosed himself. And Maul's like, he did that for me. Get a load of this. We both got the same tattoo.
An abomination.
No. A merit.
So we were in Mexico. We were a little drunk. You know how it is, right?
Yeah, they're married, Adam.
Congratulations.
Were you surprised by this?
I mean, I'm curious about who married them. Is that, you just get that over the internet?
Yeah, maybe.
No license to do that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Primarch was plausibly surprised by this, but it didn't surprise me one bit.
Oh, yeah?
And it also didn't surprise me one bit that Maul was like, yeah, and I can get you this like great technology that will make your claim to the throne completely indisputable because you can just kill anyone that disagrees with you.
I love how Book is in the room and he hears all of this and he's still like, oi, if I could just talk to her. Like, it's over, Book. No one gives a shit about this one-sided special relationship that you have with Maul. She hates you and wants you to die, and she's proven it over and over again.
He's really on a dead ender with that line of inquiry.
Yeah.
So we have 5 minutes to transport her to the Breen, and we have another McLaughlin group at Federation HQ.
Issue 2.
To talk about what we're going to do. And Nan reminds us that there is like something in this Romulan book about how the tech might be able to bring someone back to life, and that is probably why Maul is like trying to get her hands on it now.
We can defeat death.
Sure, I mean, it's clear that she would do anything to help Locke, but also she would love to fucking bury the Federation. Like, it's unclear even which would have the priority to her. She stated over and over again how little of a shit she gives for anything or anyone else besides those two.
Right. The math is pretty definitive in President Trina's eyes. Like, they gain a lot more by giving Maul to the Breen than they do by trying to defend her against the Breen.
I love how Book is like, why would you do that? She's my only family, even though she's done nothing but tell us she doesn't care about us and has tried many times to kill us all. And also, I'm an impulsive criminal that can't be trusted either. Can we at least try again to reach her?
Yeah.
Everyone in unison is like, shut up, Book!
Book, you don't know where the moral high ground is, much less are you on it.
Yeah.
I liked that the transporter happened like as the shield was coming down. Like,
yeah, that was cool.
Really instantaneous. So Maul is now in Breen hands, and we get a little update for Michael Burnham about the Eternal Gallery and Archive, now located in the Badlands.
That's fun to hear about again.
It's as fun as it sounds.
And we won't stay long.
Yeah, so it seems like that's where we're going to be going next week. Michael Burnham promises Rayner no more Breen subjugation of the Kelleran homeworld. Signed, sealed, delivered. That's never going to happen again. Hey, everybody's in a pretty good mood at the end of this one. Off to the next adventure.
Yeah, we got to go around the horn at all the bridge stations before signing off.
Who are these guys again? Oh, right. and Oo and Detmer are just not here? At all? Ever? Again?
I'm going to make a little side bet. Here's the saddest bet that a person could make, is that we're not going to see them until the finale. And then even then, it's just going to be maybe a tiny moment. Like just a nod of appreciation from either of them.
Like, I almost can see in my mind's eye a shot that is obviously green screened in of Oo and Detmer, like, waving goodbye or something. Like, that sucks.
It'd be fucking great if there was a moment of danger that Discovery got involved in, and then right in the nick of time, the ISS Enterprise, commanded by Oo and Detmer, come in, like, guns blazing. How great would that be?
That would be pretty cool.
Saving the day?
It's been upgraded to modern technology so that nacelles aren't attached anymore.
It has almost all of its war pods.
Whoa.
Yeah. How about that? Did you like this episode, Ben?
She'll always bring it home.
I did like this episode. I think the stuff between Maul and Locke in this episode worked so well because of all of the backstory we got about them in Mirrors. Like, I think that I was ready to believe that they were kind of ride or die for each other, but like the scale of that and the scope of that being established a couple of weeks ago, I think made this episode as effective as it was for me. And I like that they just have their own fucking agenda. Like, I think they are kind of villains because, like, they have their own agenda and don't really care what it means for anyone else, which is a very Star Trek kind of villain. Like, what they want is not bad in and of itself. It's just that they're, like, bad externalities that they are failing to consider as being worth forestalling against. And so I liked that a lot. And I guess, the for some reason bookness of this episode was the main thing that dragged on it for me. It was like, it feels like they're like, shit, we got Book in this one. We didn't really come up with a storyline for him. So let's kind of try and figure out a thing for him to do. And it felt really like poorly covered up almost.
I mean, not only was it not covered up, it was actually articulated by the character himself. When he rolls into engineering and he tells Stamets, "Oi, I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Put me to work."
And this is like the second or third episode this season that's kind of felt like that. So
yeah.
That's kind of bugging me. But overall, I liked the episode. How about you?
I like contrasts between Starfleet and non-Starfleet in the way that you articulated. Like, the idea of these couriers existing is cool. I like that there's a little black market. That's neat.
Yeah.
I love the contrast and the conflict between Starfleet and those people. But it is frustrating to me how not frustrating it is to folks on the Starfleet/Federation side to constantly see the ability to turn these people who have not chosen Starfleet as a specific choice.
Yeah.
And given their specific morality and the way they want to live, there's a vibe of proselytization out of Starfleet that seems very apparent in an episode like this, where you just keep giving Maul and Locke, and Book is the one who articulates it most this episode, obviously, but like generally, if we can just have another conversation. This is done in all this meetings with the Breen. Like, let's just slow things down and introduce ourselves using rank and first name, last name, and maybe do a tour of the station like we like to do. If we can just spend enough time with these people, they're going to see how great we've got it, and they're going to want to live this way too. It's very root beer scene on Deep Space Nine to me.
It's insidious, just like the Federation.
That hundreds of years in the future, that is still the prevailing thought.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times they need to hear no, they're not interested by someone they're trying to sell on this way of life. But I'm tired of it. Stop selling. This is the way they are.
They don't want to timeshare.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that it makes it a bad episode. There were a lot of really fun and good things about this episode, but just the overarching feeling of it was a little bit of a drag for me, because I think what is in this episode is in so many episodes of Discovery specifically, but in new Star Trek generally. Just like, we know the best way to live. If you're not down, it just means you haven't heard the next sales pitch.
Right.
You're gonna want to buy after the next one. And in a universe that's all about like idic, we gotta be okay with other ways of life.
Right. We gotta like empathize with the fact that they're not empathizing.
Yeah. Well put.
Well, do you want to see if there's anything we can empathize with in the priority one inbox, Adam?
There's nothing in the P1s I'll ever understand. I'm going to go do crimes with my friend.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Ben, we got a priority 1 message here of a personal nature. It's from former U.S. Navy Lieutenant Durst.
Whoa.
And it's to Ben and Adam.
That's us.
Their message goes like this. To use a Navy term, bravo Zulu for the effort and creativity it takes to keep coming up with multiple that guy who alternate egos for Discovery's Admiral Vance.
I'd honestly forgotten that was his name.
Yeah. Good reminder. Your boundless ability to make FODs laugh is a joy. Thanks for it all. Hey, thank you, Lieutenant Durst.
Thanks, Lieutenant Durst. That means a lot.
I love spending a little extra time coming up with a list. I didn't even go through my entire list for this episode, did you?
I had to come up with one on the fly because I only had one thought up in my notes.
Wow, you did great. They all sounded like pre-writes, Ben, and I mean that as a compliment.
This next P1 is from Wife Bear Penguin, and it's to Husband Bear Cat. Goes like this. To my wonderful husband, Ben, thank you so much for being here for me on this allergy trek while we figure out how to deal with being smacked in the face by unexpected food allergies. Your support is what keeps me going and keeps a smile on my face. Let's find the best allergy-friendly snacks to enjoy while watching Star Trek together. Love, Lisa. Wow.
Ah, that sucks. That sucks to feel like so many food items are a trick. It's very frustrating.
Tell me about it, man. Like, the amount of vigilance that you have to go through in a world where it's not always well labeled, your waiter might not always know exactly what's in every dish.
Yeah.
Like, any snack offered might be a trip to the ER or a stab with an epi.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It's such a fucking drag. Thanks for being good partners to each other going through a thing like that.
Yeah, for sure. Best of luck coming out on the other side with a way of eating you can live with.
Yeah. And enjoy your little grid of stabs, I guess.
Oh, I remember grid of stabs. That's fun. And by fun, I mean not fun. I remember, definitely ballpoint pen on the forearm.
Yeah.
And also on the back is how I got it. But I remember labels and plastic wrap and a code.
Yeah, because it's like a game of Battleship. You got to figure out which ones sink the submarine and which ones don't.
Not fun. Well, share your specific medical issue with us. A priority 1 message. I'm looking at the grid that shows the schedule ahead. A couple of them aren't bumps. Actually, several of them aren't bumps. So get in there.
Get in there.
You can do that by going to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron. And they really, really help the ongoing production of this here show.
Hey, Adam.
What's that, Ben?
Did you find yourself an Edward Larkin? Edward Larkin!
I feel like Nan came back just to be the Larkin of this episode. I love seeing this character again. I thought she was cool as hell back when she was a main cast character.
Yeah.
But she came back to do bad at her job and get her ass kicked. And that's her storyline this episode. What could be more Larkin than that?
Starfleet security can be got past if the plot calls for it. at any time. Like,
also, if you're the leader of Starfleet security, tell your fucking guards to not eavesdrop on the conversations outside the door of sicksbay. Like, quit making faces, random security guy.
Yeah.
Did you win a contest back there?
I also liked how one of the security guys was totally bald and the other had the ponytail.
Yeah.
It was like two ends of the bell curve for how much hair on our security guys.
I worry about the security apparatus in far future Starfleet if this is the best they can do.
Yeah, just like the kinds of guys that Jackie Chan kicks the ass of early in an 80s film.
This is exactly that. Yeah, for some reason, one of the security people is like pushed through the flappy part of a shopping cart. How about you, Ben?
I will join you on I was going to give it a book just for like going around knocking on doors, asking to be in different parts of the plot.
You got any stories I can be a part of?
But I think you made a persuasive case for Non, and I mean, it sort of feels like we may never have another chance to give it to her. So
yeah, it feels good, right?
Yum, yum.
Yeah. So congratulations, Non.
Yeah, you did it. You came back for a Larkin.
All right, Adam. Just one last segment here on the show. Can you bless the people with a warning bois from the internet?
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy. A warning buoy.
And just to remind folks who have forgotten and for new listeners, Warning Bois is a segment where we shout out nice reviews that we've gotten or nice social media posts encouraging people to check out the show. And specifically when they kind of have the tone that will scare off folks who this wouldn't be for. Because we know our show's not for everyone. You know, we want to invite in the right people.
Ben, we got a great 5-star review here over at Apple Podcasts for Greatest Trek. Headline, these guys are certified goobers.
Who's the sanctioning body that issues that certification?
Yeah, this one's written by Art of the Glitch.
Okay.
We'll see if we can get past that headline. Sometimes a show prompts you to leave a good review, and in parentheses, it helps. And sometimes one of the hosts makes a ridiculous comparison in a Star Trek podcast between the relative longevities of Sluggo Cola and the Zildjian companies, and you realize you found your home. And you should have left a good review ages ago. This is definitely the latter. The show is good. The hosts are lovely, funny, dweebs, with Mariana's trenched depths of knowledge and humor. If you're a Star Trek fan and you're not listening, you're missing out.
Aww.
How about that?
That really won me over by the end.
Yeah. Kind of a little column A, a little column B, but mostly column A, and a 5-star review.
That's kind of what we're looking for in a warning bois. Like the wrong person that is just going to pick nits about us is not going to find that persuasive, but the right person is going to find it very persuasive.
Exactly. Yeah, great job, Art of the Glitch. And thanks to everyone who leaves a 5-star review. It is a free way to support the show. It's something we encourage from everyone. If you haven't done it yet, please do.
That is the end of our program. We're going to leave it with Wynde from here. Take it away, Wynde.
Thanks, Wynde.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Next Friday, Ben and Adam will be back to cover Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 8. It's called Labyrinths. Your 5-star reviews over on Apple Podcasts really are great to see, and we appreciate you putting in a message about the show. Another thing that really helps people find us is your word-of-mouth recommendations. Membership support is what keeps this podcast going, so we want to thank everyone who supports on a monthly basis. There's a ton of bonus content available to members and a new bonus episode coming out every single month. You can set up a membership at MaximumFun.org/join. Thanks to Adam Ragusea, who composed the theme music for Greatest Trek. Find him on YouTube, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed to the @GreatestTrek YouTube channel as well. Thanks to Nick Dittmore for creating the show art, and thanks to Bill Tilley and Rob Adler for all their work managing the various social media pages. Make sure you're following one of those and use the hashtag #GreatestTrek when you post about the show online. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.